mute is off. And we'll go in 3, 2, 1, and hi, welcome to G3. We're on episode, I don't know, someone remind me, episode
14.
14. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, my name is Tina Chase Gilmore. I seem to always forget to say that, so I'm going to try to remember. We have a show for you today. We've rallied the gals, and we're thinking about tech, and we're thinking about other things too. So let me introduce to you my co-hosts, lovely Rebecca Woodcock in the upper left. Hi, Rebecca.
Good morning. Hi.
Hey.
I'm having kind of a bad hair day, so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's possible for you,
I was going to say,
Rebecca.
I want your bad hair day.
Yeah, your bad hair day is my best hair day. So.
Right.
Hallie Suit Tucker in the upper right.
Hey, hi.
And in our Brady Bunch lower right corner is Mary Hodder. Hi, Mary.
Hello.
All right. So
I'm having a bad hair day, which is why I did my ponytail thing again.
I should do that.
I think that might be one of the Marsha Brady sort of hairstyles, if I remember correctly. I don't know.
Jan Brady did the side hair.
Jan, the middle child. Okay.
Yes.
I'm restraining myself from singing the theme song. So.
Yeah.
There we go.
Rebecca's doing
Hallie.
her side
hair.
See, Rebecca, that's lovely. Just hold it
Yeah, you look
just
great.
like that.
I can't do that. I don't even have enough hair anymore.
Hallie, did you get a little hairdo style?
Yeah, it doesn't
Hallie's
hurt
got her
now.
Okay.
I got it chopped. It's all chopped. So I can't do like a side off my head thing, So anyway.
Okay.
It's very chopped.
So let's see. I wanted to just let people know that we do have this interesting little chat room. It hasn't been super active yet. We've gotten a little bit, a few people here and there. I wanted to let you know that we usually post the link to the chat room on the Facebook page. The Facebook page is facebook.com/G3show. I think I've got a graphic for that somewhere, but that would be snazzy if I could pull that up. And I wanted to let you know that when you do use it, you click on the little comment tab in the upper area of the chat room, and then click on the time stamp, which is, it'll say an hour ago or 3 hours ago, or in this case today it says 13 hours ago because I set it up 13 hours ago. You click on that and you get a whole new window. Anyway, that's just a little tutorial. Wanted to let you know that. And if you do want to chat with us during the show, you should get on that. And also chat with each other. It's been really a wonderful, wonderful piece of the Gilmore Gang. And we haven't sort of, brought it to life yet. We've been kind of waiting. We're working on some other tools that are going to be, we think, a little more effective. But until then, that's what we've got. So
I just have to say thanks because I have never been able to figure out friend feed, how you get the window where it's just the chat and not all your other chats.
Yeah.
And it's the time. It's the time. Oh my God, I didn't get it because it's not a different color. Like comment, like, and share, and other links are a different color. But the time for me was the same black as the main text, and so.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
It makes it makes it really easy, and it's actually a nice little system to use. So
yeah.
I don't know what there was some sound. I don't know what that sound was. So
Sorry.
Some happenings that are going on.
I know what that sound was.
What?
That was Rebecca was mining for gold because we're here in California, right? I heard that's what you guys do here in California, no?
I mean, that's right. Hallie's actually here in California.
I know.
Time.
I'm
This
trying
is so
to
exciting.
learn all about it.
And Hallie, tell us where you are because there's interesting things behind you.
I'm in San Jose. I'm embedded like a reporter.
Yeah.
Not not in Iraq or Syria. I'm embedded in a college dorm room of my son, San Jose State. And if you think he likes bicycles, I'm going to show you. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
There's one.
It's like there's
there's two.
actually about 7.
Oh my
I
goodness.
can't even show over there. There's more, but it's like hard to show you. Sorry.
Bicycle art.
Yeah, bicycles everywhere. And the special movie poster, Ride Like Hell. There is it. There it is. I'm trying to get it. Yeah. So anyway, I'm back to school in college, and it's pretty darn interesting. There's a pep rally and a football game tonight.
Well, that's so cool. So congratulations for being back here with us in Silicon Valley.
Awesome. I can't wait. I get to see you.
Silicon Valley, which isn't, for any of you who don't actually know this, it's not a actual city or anything. It's just a state of mind. It's a state of mind.
Yes, definitely.
So speaking of state of minds and Silicon Valley and all that stuff, any Burning Man news that we need to talk about? Mary, do you have any for us?
Burning Man, any important news? Well, earlier this week,
Burning Man is what I said.
They got rained out.
Yeah,
mud rain out. And so they closed everything, but everyone who was already there could stay, but you couldn't drive around. You could ride around on your bike, but because it was so muddy that mud, when it dries, just becomes like cement. So nobody could go in. There was a giant backup at the gate, and they turned people back to Reno, and no planes landing until everything dried out. And now it's back on, I think, as of Tuesday, maybe, or maybe that was Tuesday and as of Wednesday. But anyway, bottom line is they were off for a day, and then now they're back.
So they got a little Woodstock effect, because that's something that happened at Woodstock, right? The rain came, the mud came, and then the unhappiness followed. Do we need to explain Burning Man? You know, I always think of it as a very kind of San Francisco Bay Area sort of. It's not in the Bay Area, but a lot of people who live here do definitely attend it. It's become a kind of a tech community happening, I guess.
I think it kind of always was. It's just that when it was smaller, it didn't feel like the entire tech community did it. You know, when it was 2,500 people or whatever, it was such a subset. But the founders and the people who did it, I actually used to have coffee every day. When I worked at Adobe in Emeryville, Doyle Street Cafe had like 4 of the founders having coffee there every morning. The woman who ran all the medical stuff, another guy who ran technology, and another person who ran like the security, they have like the Department of Public Works and I don't know, other stuff. Anyway, so I had coffee with them every day for 5 years.
Coffee?
And I was like, what is this Burning Man thing? Never heard of it, and I never went when I knew them. When I would have coffee with them, I went actually the year after. I stopped. I was in graduate school, and I was like, oh, better go to Burning Man. So anyway, and then I went for 8 years, and then I didn't go this year or last year. So here we are.
And it's become I don't know. It's changed over time from what I've heard. I've never been.
It has changed.
And
now
people
it's like
spend lots of
70,000.
money to put on all kinds of events and venues and things like that, right?
But that was always the case. I mean, I think since even in the beginning, the littler projects still relatively cost a lot. Now they sell about $25 million in tickets, but they give a portion away to people to make art and stuff. So the giant art projects.
I'm here from Boston to tell you guys you're all fucking crazy, and that the news item on Burning Man this week that was particularly interesting is they have to add another runway for the private jets. Okay, you're nuts, and that is normal. If that's normal,
this is what I mean by the money. Yeah,
that is, and it's some back to nature. You're supposed to be able to get mud on you.
To nature.
It should be okay to have mud on you.
Nothing natural about Burning Man absolutely nothing.
That's-
Everybody brings their entire infrastructure to Burning Man.
Then why
it's
go?
it's gasoline, it's fire, it's electricity, it's, the whole thing's lit up at night.
Isn't it supposed to be
this is
kind of
not a camping
hippie-ish,
trip.
sort of like?
Yeah, I thought it was.
I think that's the back to nature thing that Hallie's sort of getting at, is that sort of kind of hippie, letting it all hang loose type of, I don't know.
The rules are you can't spend money at the event. The only things you can buy are coffee and ice at Center Camp and at 3 and 9 o'clock. It's like set up in a grid, like on time or something, and then based on like a clock. And then you can buy, so you can buy coffee and ice, and that's it. But you're not supposed to go there and sell people things. However, people do now pay 25 grand, the billionaires camp, to go in and have a motorhome set up for them, but they pay it off-site.
Oh, well,
Nobody exchanges money.
So they're
people
working
are
around the
disgusting.
rules as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Okay, well, cool. All right, Burning Man. Let's move on.
never been.
It's I
Well,
don't know.
Let me say this: that
yeah.
that earlier on, before Billionaires Camp, some of the billionaires stayed in my camp. Brad Templeton put it on, and Larry and Sergey were in it, and various other folks. And they just stayed in tents. They just like walked around and hung out, and it wasn't a big deal. But now I think because people know that they actually make a camp where they string together motorhomes so that no one can get through, because they were getting hassled and people were handing them resumes and pitching them for money.
Is it a security issue also?
It's a security issue, and so I can understand why they would do that, because people started coming into our camp and saying, "Hey, is Sergey here?" And we were like, everyone would lie and say no, and he was like over in a costume, But I mean, it does get kind of gross, and so I can understand. So,
and I also, I think honestly, the other issue there is that, if you're going there to have fun and people are interrupting you for business reasons and, basically pitching you, then it's not fun, and you're not there for, what you want to be there for. So
you can't relax either.
So, so you're protecting people who, are in your area because they want to just have fun and they want to drink a little bit or do whatever they do. And, they don't want to be
Nobody wants to have their picture taken. I mean, it's just, and you're in some weird costume, and then everybody's showing it at the investor meeting. Oh, here's, Elon Musk in a dragon costume. I mean, it's just like nobody wants that picture out there. So I can understand, it does allow them to have a certain amount of privacy. And then they all wear, actually it was interesting.
But there's no rule about not posting to social media, right?
Actually, there is. On your ticket, it says that all images are the property of the Burning Man organization, and you have to get permission to post. Now, of course, everyone posts, but it says that you're supposed to ask permission for people if you're going to take their photo, especially if they're naked or they're in some sort of crazy thing. And a lot of people do it, but I will say that those creepy sites like Girls Gone Wild sent video crews there on Friday at 3 p.m. every year. There's a thing called Critical Tits, and all 3,000 to 5,000 women ride on bikes on this big parade, and they're topless. A lot of them are painted with body paint and stuff. But basically they sent a video crew and then they posted it to their site. And so it is a way for the Burning Man org to try to control that. At the same time, it's a little out of touch with what we do digitally online and social media, So there's ups and downs,
Well, here's another thing that's a little out of touch with what we do, but we must say congratulations to Brad and Angelina for finally tying the knot. The word is spread today that they actually got married over the weekend.
Oh, well,
how about that?
I knew because they called me.
They called you. You were there, right?
Shall I do it? Shall I not?
Hallie zipped over to France and back, and she.
Yeah, and he's like, she has such big lips. What do you think? Is that going to be a
wait
problem?
a second. What about these?
Duck face.
Okay, so anyway, happy, whatever. They've been together for a while. They have a passel of kids. Is that a good word, Hallie? You're my
Oh,
wordsmith.
golly.
A passel of kids?
I think a hockey team would work.
hockey
I mean, they have so many kids. How many kids have they got? Like
I don't know.
500.
At least
They
at least
seem-
6, but
They seem
maybe
so
more.
boring now. They're like settling for a partner that's like, it's too complicated.
Settling?
I'll just settle with her. You know,
I'll settle with Brad Pitt.
I know which
No.
side of the bed she sleeps on. I know the names of the kids. You know.
Rebecca would be happy with Brad Pitt, huh?
No, I'm fine with what I've got right
Okay.
now.
Oh, it's
I
better.
misunderstood. I misunderstood what
I'm
you
just
said.
saying, if you're
Okay,
in
you're
that
going to
situation
retract that, right?
where- I'm just saying, if you're in that situation where you're either one of them, are you really
Yeah.
settling?
Ah, okay.
Well, I
I
think
don't
he
know.
settled. You know.
I think
Okay.
she's actually really amazing because she
I
does all
I
that
like
work
her too.
Like
with
her.
the UN. She goes to areas
Mary,
of the world
Mary,
with high
speaking
security.
of UN, pick your chin up.
Sorry.
That has nothing to do with the
Sorry.
UN, but
I'm
I
trying
figured
to,
that might
like,
get your
sit.
attention.
There we go. How's that?
Okay.
No, but she does all that work with the UN. She goes
Yes.
to areas of the world that are extremely dangerous. I mean, where they kidnap people and behead them, and to fight for women and children who've been
Yes.
raped and tortured. And I mean, she does UN conferences. I loved how recently she did a UN conference with world leaders to look at these issues, right?
Yes,
Children and
yes.
women, and how awful their situations are in a lot of third world countries, especially in ones that are engaged in war. And you know, she wore a very conservative outfit that any normal woman would wear to a business event. And of course,
It looks
on
fabulous.
social media, all the People magazine types and Pop Sugar and everything trashed her because she wore a business outfit. They're like, it's not sexy. It's not like an actress. And I'm thinking, this woman is like doing good for the world, and you people are just parasites, right?
Right.
And
Leave her
you're
alone.
trashing her. Leave her alone. She's awesome.
But that's
She's
exactly why I was making fun of the whole thing, because as real people, they actually are pretty amazing what he did in New Orleans and rebuilding. And so I actually, as people, like them. But like celebrity gossip and how this is like all over social media 24/7, and you've got, I'm sorry, stuff like BuzzFeed and all this crap that is the big. I mean, I've just started, writing at the Boston Globe, and the idea that really all the junk gets read and any serious stuff, it's like, oh, don't show me that boring stuff. It's like homework.
I could care
So,
less
Hallie-
about Kim
Yeah.
Kardashian weddings or all this hype around the celebrity stuff. I really
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
I
killing
wish
our
other
culture.
people didn't care as much either.
Yeah. It's weird too, I think, that we now have celebrities that absolutely admit they do nothing. They're famous for no reason.
Right.
What is that? Like, at least they used to be actors, singers, people
Dancers.
that danced,
Well-
Right. They had talent.
and now they're like, I'm just like big
I
butt
shop.
Kim Kardashian. What? You know?
Or they had a sex tape or something,
Yeah,
and
but
that's how they
hell.
got famous.
Yeah.
How is that a way to get famous, by the way? Why is
Oh,
that? That's a
yeah.
that's a weird
Because you-
thing.
To show how stupid your judgment is, how lacking. That's
I've got
okay,
worse
famously-
judgment than everybody. Right? So, have you
I have to show you this cup.
have you realized that it's only been, oh wait, a cup?
The only clean cup here.
I want to do a beverage
it's
show
a
too
Merry
really
Christmas. It's somebody's old leftover
Here's
Christmas
my cup.
It's like
Mary.
it's scary. There's the cup.
That's
Nice.
my cup.
Cup.
Cup compare.
Oh well, okay. I've got this.
We're gonna
Excellent.
get.
Yay,
I got this.
water.
I
do you got?
also have a protein shake here going on.
Nice.
Ooh,
Nice.
what's that?
It's a protein shake.
Ooh, I
and
think we're
almond
gonna
milk.
do a beverage show. We're gonna do
Yeah.
a hat show soon, and we're gonna do a bring your favorite beverage show and why. All right.
Yes.
So
Well,
I don't mean
people
the
should
whole
send
show.
us-
I just mean a thing. So we haven't talked at all about tech, but before we even get there, I just wanted to say it's only been 5 days since we had this Napa earthquake, and did any of you feel the earthquake and feel the earth move? I
Yes,
can't
I
sing
did.
because that we'd have to pay someone for that. So So
Yes, I did. I woke up.
We know what
and-
you're thinking. You did. Where were you?
I was, well, in bed. It was 2 a.m.
it was
I don't know.
3:20.
Or 3 a.m. So, yeah, 3:20.
But you're not north. You don't. I don't know where you live. So are you
live-
living up north?
I live in San Francisco. It's it's about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours south of Napa.
Yeah. So you're not in
that
Napa.
far.
Yeah.
Not in
close.
Napa.
Yeah.
No, but we could definitely feel it. I woke up. I'm such a light sleeper anyway, so I woke up. And then my partner, he's not a light sleeper, but he woke
You
up.
woke up. Yeah.
And but actually, we were really, really amazed that a lot of our stuff, I mean, look, even just, sorry, right here, we've got kite gear leaning up against the wall. We've got surfboards over here. Nothing fell over. So I was really, really surprised.
That is surprising. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary, you felt the earthquake a little bit?
Yeah, I woke up and I was like, what are the cats doing?
Did you think they're jumping?
And then-
on
I
you?
thought the same thing. I thought the dogs were, because it's a similar feeling. Dogs scratching, they get on my bed and then they scratch, and I think, oh, it's shaking. What's going on? I thought that was maybe happening, but it was a little more than that.
So I'm
funny.
posting into the chat a comparison of the Loma Prieta earthquake from 1989 compared to the Napa one. And it's really interesting because they give you kind of a heat map of like how severe it was and stuff. And actually, even though I know bottles of wine were lost in Napa, it wasn't, and there is some damage
wasn't
because
that
they had a
bad,
lot of
no.
unreinforced buildings or buildings without proper code
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't nearly as bad as Loma Prieta.
No,
Well,
not at
it
all.
was, but can I add? It was Le Vendange, which, as we know, it's harvest. It's wine harvest time, and so it's kind of a big deal for them. I mean,
Well, but
I mean, I know it looks like a bottle of wine is bleeding on a floor in a fancy store. Like, oh, I'm supposed to cry.
right. But the harvest thing, I mean, unless like, giant tractors fell into fissures, which didn't really happen. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, what's it going to do to harvest? Like the harvest part isn't that bad. The issue is once they harvest the stuff, then where are they going to bring it? Is it safe? It's, and frankly, there's lots of other buildings in other valleys. They could just drive it over the hill
Yeah.
to Sonoma or Fairfield and, rent a warehouse and still process the grapes. I mean,
Was
it's
any-
not ideal, but it's doable.
Was anybody else surprised like me that in an earthquake-prone area that bottles of wine and barrels aren't secured for,
I know.
for
Not,
earthquake?
I'm not, because you know what? People get super
I was.
relaxed when there's intermittent events, and it's not like, oh, every day this thing's going to happen at
No,
8 a.m., right? Or every fall we're going to get hurricanes, and they tell us 5 days ahead, and we have to
Yeah.
prep for our hurricane.
But-
In this case, you're prepping for something, and you have no idea when it's coming. You don't even know like a couple of days ahead. So you can run around and scramble. You get 10-second warning at UC Berkeley, and that's it. And
Yeah.
there's no time to do anything.
Well, I
So
get that
the
because I'm not
problem is-
prepared at my house. I'm
Well,
not
the problem
prepared at all.
is that I think a lot of people get very complacent,
Mm-hmm.
and they stop securing the bookshelves to the wall, or
Yeah.
doing stuff that would help. Or we change out the water every year in the barrel. We have these glass bottles. We change them out every year, but and then we just water the yard with the extra water. But I mean, if you're not sort of the reason I do it is because in Loma Prieta, I spent a week without water, gas, electricity. I was in a building in a high rise in San Francisco. We were on the 10th floor. The building shook for 2 minutes and 17 seconds, even though the earthquake was only 15 seconds. And we were swaying because we were on giant rollers. And
Harrowing.
the aftershocks were just enormous. And they're, it's not like door jams help you in a skyscraper.
Exactly.
There's nowhere to go except under a desk. And then at 2 a.m., the security finally let us out. We walked down the stairs. And of course, nobody had stuff like tennis shoes. We were in a law firm. And I was just out of college, and we had to walk home together and drop one person off at a time. There were fires. There were fire engines. Every few minutes there'd be an aftershock, and more bricks would come flying out. I mean, it was it was pretty terrifying. And then for the following week, I was trapped at my house when we were on bedrock. So each aftershock would come as a big boom.
But the point is, this one was nothing like that.
No, it wasn't. But I'm just saying, once you go through that one time,
you get more
remember
prepared.
to change out the water and keep your earthquake backpack by the back door. It's just part of your routine.
Yeah.
But if nothing's happened for a long time, you get very complacent. Why on earth would you support your wine barrels that are, 50 feet up because you got a whole bunch underneath? You just do whatever.
Similarly, I lived in
that's what they did.
I lived in Charleston, South Carolina for a number of years, and when I first moved down there, and I mean within a couple months of moving down there, Hurricane Hugo came barreling up the coast. Huge, massive hurricane, and all the neighbors that I have, they're like, it'll be okay. Just, do this, do that. No, you don't have to go anywhere. No, you don't have to do this. And it was totally the wrong information. And that was, people were totally complacent. I mean, they hadn't experienced that level of devastation in so long that they, their memory told them, no big deal.
Right.
Which I was lucky that that the mayor got on on the news that morning and said, "Get the hell out of here." And we said, we better go. We don't know from hurricanes. We're New Yorkers. We're going to get out of here. It sounds bad.
And it's getting more catastrophic, the weather. So you can err on the side of this could be a disaster,
Yeah.
And I went through the Northridge in LA when I lived there, and what you said, Mary, is exactly right. Once you've been through it, you do not feel casual about it. And coming out here, knowing I was traveling here, that you just had one, you can kind of feel like, was that the one, or was this a pre-one? There was also, wasn't there one in South America a few days right after this one? I thought there was a big one.
They're probably not connected at all.
Well, all around, it was like making me feel a little nervous. So
okay, so tech. Anybody want to talk to?
Well, related.
Anybody have? What?
Here's something related to the earthquake that I thought was interesting, some tech. So I was watching one of the fire departments in the Napa area actually had a seismic detector that was attached to their garage door. And so it sensed a few seconds before that an earthquake was coming so that the door wouldn't get jammed and they would get locked in, which would help nobody. Right. So they have about a 2 to 3 second lead on the earthquake that
the door goes up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
really good.
Really
That's
cool.
great.
And so it was just an interesting piece of technology, and they were talking about a network of these seismic meters that, as people start integrating them or using them, such as other fire departments or hospitals or whatnot, they can actually create a trigger network so that if one goes off, then it can signal to the other ones that an earthquake is coming. So I thought that was just an interesting and very useful, timely piece of information.
That's really cool. I just posted also to the chat, there's an U.S. Geological Service. I'm looking over because I have a second computer with a monitor on it. But basically, it lists all the earthquakes worldwide. And it...
we saw that, Rebecca.
Somebody going off to work, sorry.
but what's cool about it is you can actually zoom out and look at the entire planet. But they have Napa listed right now, and they show the fault lines. It's a very cool visualization. I totally recommend it. But it's on the friend feed chat.
So,
by the way, I just, because he's bothering me so much.
Who's that?
This is Gray. He wanted to make his television appearance. Come on, Gray. Say hello.
He doesn't even want to look at us. He's like,
he's
I will look at you when I feel like looking at you. Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know my fatal flaw?
Okay, Gray, you got to go.
You know my fatal flaw? I hate dogs and cats. Okay, so now
Really?
I said
What?
Oh my God.
I hate them. I hate
both of them?
I even hate goldfish. I hate
Are
that.
you just
hamsters
an animal
and-
hater,
I don't like
or
them.
is
How
there
about bunny
anything
rabbits?
What is
animal that-
going on?
No,
Hallie,
they're-
how is that possible?
They're dirty. and
Chinchillas?
stinky.
They're dirty.
They're dirty
Do
and
you like
sticky,
any
and they make
animal, or are you just an
they
animal
make
hater?
like dogs make nice people walk around outside picking up poop and putting it in plastic bags.
Oh
I
my
find that
God.
a
Our
little bit
cats
strange,
smell like
I
too.
hate that.
Our
I find
cats
that a
smell like
little bit odd.
gnocchi.
What's that,
I
Rebecca?
find the walking around with dogs and picking up their poop a little bit odd as well.
Gross.
I mean, we've had dogs, but growing up, I've always lived on an open ranch or
Right,
something
where-
like that, and they would just run wild and you know
Yeah.
have their freedom. And but the city life with a dog, I don't really understand for either one of them.
I like
human
those
or
kind of
dog.
like real dogs. I don't like pets, is what I mean. I don't like.
Yeah.
I think they should.
Hallie,
walk
this is
wild.
getting worse. I'm sorry, but it's just getting worse.
I just had to tell
I don't
you.
like.
this-
She goes, I don't like dogs. I don't like cats. I don't like pets. Oh,
No,
I
no,
see. You
I-
don't
I
like
like
captive
wait.
animals. Is
I
that
like
it?
wild animals,
I see.
wild cats, wild
Okay.
dogs. The
Okay.
shepherd with his sheepdog.
Okay, we'll
all
give you a
good.
pass on this.
You
This
know.
is okay.
You
I
know
guess.
I'm completely got these like
Just
crazy.
as long as you're not like, you're going to come over and kick
did-
my dog or something like that.
Oh, God.
I have dogs
I
and cats.
actually, I have a good friend. She keeps having me house sit for her and her cat for her cat. She's crazy.
Well, don't
I-
do
I-
it. You
okay,
obviously don't
I
like them.
talked to it.
Okay,
So I have an important
tech
question
news.
on the
Oh,
tech front.
Rebecca. Okay, go ahead.
What?
I was going to say I have an important question on the
Yes.
tech news front. I sorry to push the dog and cat discussion aside.
That's
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Please.
So apparently,
please.
so Napster had a COO
Mm.
who was an attorney, and he Milton Olin Jr. and he was run over by a deputy who was driving and texting, and the deputy. It just was announced that the deputy is not going to be charged. But what I think is interesting about this, here's my question: is this a conspiracy of the record companies? Like they couldn't nail the Napster people, so instead they're just randomly having them run over.
I like that. It's
Like when the
interesting
CIA
concept.
gets pissed at you, like if you
They
if you
just-
out any secrets of the CIA, like 5 years later, you just die in a car wreck,
Right.
and that's how they do it. I have a friend whose dad was high up in the CIA, and somebody on like right before Obama was first inaugurated in his first term. Remember the guy who came out and said, "Yes, we tortured people. Yes, we've been
Yeah.
surveilling. Yes, blah blah blah." And we were working in an office. It was a location services company, and we're standing around. And he said, "That guy's going to die in a car wreck in 5 to 10 years."
And
Ooh.
And he said, "My dad was at the CIA for 45 years, and that's what you do.
Ooh.
Just expect it."
Ooh.
But-
Yeah,
Ooh.
I know. So I wonder
That's
if now the
creepy.
record companies are doing this with like file sharing services. They're taking the CIA route.
So the record companies
good.
are engaging in CIA tactics, which
I
you are
don't know,
outing
but they
on
could.
this show as being car
Yes.
wrecks.
I
It's
mean,
possible.
don't thugs use the same technique? Aren't we talking about mafia and other
Yeah.
things? Like, oh, this guy,
There's no mafia.
accidents happen. Maybe they're more like thugs than the CIA. I don't know.
And speaking of mafia, I don't like when they hurt people's pets. That's not okay.
That's,
Like
Full
horse
circle.
heads.
Because even
You have
though
your
they're
limits.
stinky and you don't want to be around them, you don't want them hurt.
I
Hallie.
would want them hurt. I think they're perfectly okay. That you should never hurt a pet.
Mary,
Okay.
lock up your cats tonight, please.
That's right.
Hallie's
Well,
coming.
actually, our cats are so scared of people that they will run away.
They
should
will
be.
not be around.
However, I will say that our cats smell amazing. They smell really good.
Yeah, and
How do
people
you
with
do
cats
that?
always say that.
Okay, well, my animals don't. I have a house to prove it. So
We have to talk tech. We have to talk.
I would like to
What are we
talk a
gonna
little
talk
bit
about?
of tech.
tech.
I have a few bullet points. If you ladies would allow me, I will
Okay.
bring them up. Okay.
Après-vous.
Gosh, this is like a runaway show. You guys are hijacking this thing.
Run away, run away.
All right. So a few points. One is I noticed in some tech news, cloud storage seems to be like coming down in price quickly, a lot of competition, a lot of acquisitions. Do we care? Why is this important? And Rebecca's like, yay, yay. Let's see that again.
I am excited about
She was doing this.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I missed it on both accounts. Okay.
So, I mean, it's a good thing. I'm shocked as to how quickly the price has been going down, but of course, the price per gigabyte has been going down, so why not pass that on to the consumer? For people who don't know, I used to work at Seagate. When I first started my career, I worked for Seagate for several years. It's a hard drive company, and they, when I was tasked to look at the storage industry for quite a bit, and it was really quite expensive back then, and it was really hard to make money, and it wasn't a good business to start. And if you can make it work, it was very expensive for the end user. But how important is redundancy and backups? And haven't we all gone through the problem where even if we had an external drive that failed or something happens, and it's just our entire lives are on our computers now, and now if we can have another very low cost way of backing up, creating redundancy for our lives, it's such a good thing.
Well, ease of use it's tremendous, right? I mean, you don't have to worry about the hardware. You don't have to worry about the upkeep of it, the updating it. So I mean, cloud storage is obviously it's happening where it's at, and it's getting so. I think the number I saw was what, $5 for 200 gigabytes. I think that was that Dropbox.
I didn't look
or
at the
was
price.
that, and then there was a Zocalo was acquired by Amazon. So another.
So I use one actually that I can talk about. It's CloudMonkey, and so it was a Kickstarter, and they raised I don't know, a couple $1 million. And what you get, so it's I think it was $99. You get a box. It has a couple of terabytes of storage, and half of that is for others who have the CloudMonkey boxes in their houses. Basically, what they do is they use a peer-to-peer model. They chop up the bits. They send copies, I think up to 8 copies of your stuff encrypted out to other boxes. So it's not centralized, right? Like they don't hold it like Dropbox. And then the other half is your local storage. So that's not encrypted, but it's in your house. So you have Fourth Amendment protections, supposedly, if we still have a constitution. That's questionable. But,
very questionable
Ferguson
these days.
notwithstanding, when they go house to house and like whatever. Anyway, so I have this box and I set it up so my brother, Ed, various other people, me, all of our machines, basically we back up to it, but then you get these copies. So let's say like the house flooded or there was an earthquake and the thing fell over and it bit it or whatever. The data that goes out encrypted to the other people's machines, we could still go log in and buy a new CloudMonkey and pull it back down, which I think is a really nice model because you get privacy protection, it's encrypted, and you have redundancy in a way that is really nice without it being centralized at Dropbox.
But
Dropbox gets tons of subpoenas for the data.
But
it's not private.
But you are dealing with hardware in your home or in your office.
Yeah. It's very easy, though. I didn't have to do a thing. All I did was I got the box, you plug it into the Ethernet cable, you plug it back out to the router, and that was it. And so...
And the service fee is it per year, per month, per what?
No, it was $99 for the box, and then I believe there's no annual fee. I think you buy the box, and then for the life of the box, you have that. And then, presumably over time, we're always making more data. So, everybody's like shooting more video and taking more photos and downloading music and I don't know, whatever. You have a lot of data. So
I wanted to ask Mary quick, do you think people got a little, just really in the beginning, Amazon, AWS was dominating this, right? And do you think the pricing was just sort of what they came up with, and now suddenly we're getting back to like a real, the price is dropping maybe because now there are competitors?
Well, so there's Rackspace to plug
Right,
Robert's company, Robert Scoble. There's AWS, so that's the Amazon stuff,
right,
Amazon Web Services, and S3, which is, I think, if you're really gonna do like a website and use it for storage for all of your stuff, you use both. There's, there are other cloud services now that are
right,
up and coming because, people wanted other models. So like the
right.
Cloud Monkey people showed up and the other folks that, Tina mentioned, people are experimenting with different kind of slices of how to market the product and what kind of services to offer. And I like that. I think it's really good. I do think it makes a lot of sense to have our data in the cloud, but you do need to, there's different reasons you want to do different things.
And I think what you're pointing out is everyone needs to have a comfort level, the model that
Yep.
they're using. You have to, if you're particularly worried about privacy and you're going to go with one model. If you're concerned about, do you think people are concerned about peer-to-peer issues? I mean, are there peer-to-peer issues?
Well, the thing about using a centralized service is if for some reason they go down, then either they go away or they lose a server or whatever. They could lose your stuff. If it's redundantly peer-to-peer, there's 8 copies across other people's boxes. The chances of my losing all my data are really low because I have it on my computer. Then I have it on the machine in the other room, the Cloud Monkey machine. Then it's at 8 other machines. I mean,
well, to me, so the that model, I would say, where I would get worried is physically if those machines are accessible, if someone can come into your home, your office, whatever, and grab one. I understand the information's encrypted, but is it as secure as a centralized location? And I mean, can you imagine that it might not be because of that? Because there are more opportunities physically to.
Well, it's not encrypted at Dropbox, and it's whatever password people stick on it, that would make it, accessible. So if somebody can guess somebody's password or they reuse it, they could go in and look at the files. I mean, it's not, from anywhere. There's nothing to keep that, if the files are passworded. And then, of course, there's the Dropbox stuff that, I share stuff and I just make the folders public, but nobody really knows the files are there. But if somebody wanted to come looking, like they could find them. The thing that's interesting to me is it's not just privacy about, whether or not stuff is encrypted or locked up. It's also, business models, the business espionage is a huge problem.
Right.
And then there's the issue of, I certainly know people, and I have also gotten cease and desist letters from people using the DMCA. If you don't respond, or if your ISP or the hoster of your site or your files wanted to, for some reason, not really follow the 10-day rule where you can respond to a cease and desist letter, they can just shut things down. And there have been plenty of websites that have just been closed and everything taken away, and you're done for. Like you lost your stuff. So it's not just privacy. It's, did somebody use a bot and they think you're pirating something, but in fact you just have a file name that's sort of similar to, I don't know, the character on their TV show or something. I mean, just weird, But even Homeland Security shuts down files and sites now. And you'll go along to a site and you'll see like a big Homeland Security thing, and it's because it's suspected of piracy, but the person didn't get to respond. So if it's encrypted and it's peer-to-peer, I mean, to me that feels safer too.
The problem I have with that model is I just can't put another box in my house. I have no place for it, and I can't fit it.
Well, mine just sits. So I have the router, it's like this big, and then I have I have the modem, and then I have the router or the hub and the router thingy on top, and then I have this thing just on top. Like it's as big as the.
Small.
Yeah, it's just a little thing. They literally, the three of them are just stacked up. Like it's not. It took. I kind of had the same concern. Like we have a lot of junk and whatever. Like what are we going to do? But
Yeah.
it literally was easy. It's this little gray box. It just sits with the other stuff. It didn't. It's totally fine. Like it didn't matter because I already have those other things.
Okay. I have no graceful switch, but I know that I know that
What you need
we
to do is
have a
like
heart.
run your arm across the front like this, and then you're like swipe, and then it'll
This
be
is-
like be edited.
This is my
Don't watch it.
this is my very fancy effect.
Right,
Woo,
right,
okay.
Segue.
Segue. We should have a segue song. Segue.
Exactly.
When I
Segue.
can't actually get there with the content, I'll just do segue. Okay.
Segue.
Segue. So another Amazon acquisition, and I'll be interested to hear if you've ever even heard of them. But it's I think pretty big. It's called Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch was just snatched up by Amazon. It was rumored to be in Google's hands almost, but something happened with that deal. Maybe it fell apart. Maybe Google decided they didn't want. I don't know. But has anyone heard from about Twitch? And does anybody care? And I will tell you this: my daughter definitely knows about Twitch.
Yeah.
Is that the
Apparently,
gaming
Apple
video?
wanted to buy it too.
Really?
Apple apparently, was also a contender. I have to say.
So Twitch
as
is,
a-
let's just say what Twitch is. It's a streaming service. It's live streaming of video, and mostly it's a platform for video gamers. And what I didn't really understand until I started talking to my daughter about this a couple weeks ago, so there's this whole culture of not only video game playing, but video game watching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
huge. It's
Yep.
absolutely huge. And this is
Exactly right.
what Twitch is into and what Amazon just bought. So my question to you is, why did Amazon buy it? Is it for live content? Is that what they're going after? Is it
That's
for
the
the
first thing that comes to
demographic,
mind.
or is it for the advertising possibilities?
I think it sounds like
Probably
you hit
all of
all
it.
three.
Uh-huh.
It's
I mean,
exactly.
if attention is the commodity, to quote Mr. Gilmore, on the internet.
Who is
on the
this Mr.
internets,
Gilmore you speak of?
the magical Mr. Gilmore. You know, I was on the board of the Attention Trust because Steve invited me to do that. So, I mean, we had a lot of discussions about attention 5, 7, 8 years ago. Anyway, if the thing is that Twitch, and I worked for another company called Dino, which lame name, but anyway, they did the same thing. They basically allowed gamers to post when they were going to do a raid or something on World of Warcraft or somewhere. And then, basically they would get like 10,000 people would come in and watch the raid. So there'd be like, 15 guys playing in a guild, but all these other people would come in and watch. And, they could see all the conversation and all the stuff that people were doing, and it was highly popular. And I think Twitch does a similar thing. You can set a date and a time, or you can just show up and see what's going on and watch stuff. And, it's attention. And so, of course, there's ads, there's, selling tickets.
Mary,
there's,
the market is very,
whatever.
very male oriented, correct?
Right.
Actually,
Yep.
females have now surpassed male gamers.
Surpassed?
The majority of the market for gaming is female now.
What?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was
But
announced
gaming-
yesterday.
I'd like to
That's
see
all
some
gra-
statistics on that.
I
That's
will grab the
amazing.
article.
Yeah.
I,
Also,
um,
can I shock
It's
you?
also how you define gaming, and
Right.
gaming is a
Yeah,
very
that's true.
broad category. So women have always dominated gaming across the board. If you look at different types, and actually, when it comes to, I don't know, for shooter games or what we traditionally would call hardcore gaming, we think of it as more of a male-oriented thing. But because women are so prevalent in gaming in general, it just is a natural, it was a matter of time before they started getting into, those types of games.
I obviously have my facts completely wrong because I had absolutely no idea of that.
Yeah.
So there was a woman a week or two ago who was arrested because she kept her kids in a closet for
While
3 or
she
4
was
years while
gaming.
she was playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Like she would let them out or feed them in
Let
there or
them
whatever, and then shut the door and then go back to her game. She was just
Oh.
obsessed, and it's crazy. But I mean, even the shooter games get a fair number of women, and
She needs a
I mean,
12-step
you know,
program.
yeah, no kidding. Well, it's a funny thing. Years ago, when people would say, I'm going to build an addictive app or an addictive game or an addictive website or whatever, and everyone kind of laughed, and, the VCs would fund it or not or whatever. But, everybody always used the word addictive. And now I think people realize,
It's a
it's
nasty
not
word.
a joke. It's actually, it rearranges the cells in your brains
Yeah.
when you respond so strongly, the dopamine, to like a game or I don't know what, a
Gotta
hit
do it
on
again.
Facebook.
Gotta do it again. Gotta
Exactly.
do it again.
And now it's a little scary, and you don't hear anybody saying, I'm going to build an addictive whatever.
No, it's become a nasty, nasty word.
It's,
Can I
scary.
add a thing or two, which is the CEO
No,
said
you can't.
why? No, I can't. And by the way, that lady was treating her kids like pets, and that's not good. May I say, I love the fact
And
that
Hallie
first of
doesn't
all,
like pets.
the price was just is so Amazon, $970 million in cash. The CEO said that he felt, and this sounds just, boy, this really surprised me.
That was cash.
The CEO said that he felt the Amazon would give him a lot more. He would remain CEO, and they respected his company, and he would, have more control. I just find that really hard to believe. But
I find it hard to believe, too.
That's what he said. So.
Buying Amazon.
Well, so maybe it was in reference to the Google possibility, and maybe, I mean, who knows how Google was maybe structuring their deal. But you got to wonder whether, I don't know, maybe there was maybe going to be a YouTube sort of connection, and maybe it was going to be, I don't know. I mean, that certainly hasn't been rumored, but.
Do you remember any Amazon acquisition where you remember the name of the CEO that got bought? I don't.
Sure, there's Tony from Zappos.
Tony Fay,
Who?
yeah.
Tony from Zappos, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
He has maintained control, and he runs his org, and
yes,
they're. I mean, I think probably he's their poster child for
that. Yes,
for a
I
CEO
agree.
getting to retain the flavor of the company.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I would guess that there is an element of that autonomy that played into this, and I think, Hallie, the number that you were quoting about not what 980 something, yeah. Plus, I think there were some retainer fees. I think it was around $1 billion.
Yep, it was. Yeah, I have a question about numbers.
Yes.
I have a number on my clock. It says 11:55,
Oh, no.
and you have a clock. This is 11:40 or something. And I keep seeing it. It's
one?
right there. It's right there. Yeah.
11:42.
It's totally wrong.
Okay, good. Because I'm like, all right, I am so freaking out. What
Forget
time
it.
it is. I know I'm in California, so it's not really whatever.
I just
I
broke
love
the clock.
I love
It's
it that
gone.
you threw it over your shoulder. That was like the tech equivalent of Julia Child in 1972, when she would drink sherry, and then she would crack open the eggs and throw the eggshells over her shoulder, and the minions will clean it up.
That's
And
right.
when I was a little kid, and I would watch that in the 70s with my mom, like you're homesick for a day or something, and I was like, oh my God, she's throwing the egg thingies on the floor. And my mom was like, don't you ever do that.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
'cause
you just
your
threw the
mom was
clock
a real-
over your shoulder. It's like, a little bit Julia Child.
You can... There you go.
There you go.
Well, Hallie, do you still have your hard stop?
I don't want to stop. That's why I asked. I can
Okay.
stop. I can add 10 minutes.
Okay,
You
let's
guys
add
can
10 minutes.
stand it. Can we do it?
Let's add 10 minutes. Hang on.
right.
So, Apple is what, September 9th? Is that the magic day? We should have,
Oh,
I
yes.
should turn that clock, or I should get another clock like that one and turn it into a
turn it into a
countdown clock.
countdown.
Because
Yeah.
we're counting down to an iPhone that maybe I can read,
Right.
because I cannot read this one. My eyes have gotten like such shit. I can't. This totally sucks. And so this is what I use now.
Oh,
I
my
just
goodness.
go to my big iPad, not even my
So
little
on
one.
On the countdown clock, I think you should have Steve Jobs' face, and it could like twirl around backwards. You know,
Okay, so a couple things. What that's a cool idea. Let's do
Wouldn't it
that.
be
Let's
fun?
let's make a clock.
We'll get a countdown
um,
clock, and we'll put his face
We'll
on
do
the
that.
big
We'll do
thing
that
with
tonight. We have a clock making party. So a couple things are we pretty much know are happening. Although Apple never tells us, but then the rumors start to fly, right? So we're hearing that not only are there going to be probably two sizes of iPhones, and we are hearing that there's going to be a wearable, which we knew it was in the pipelines, right? But it sounds like they're going to actually show it, demonstrate it, and that it's going to have tie-ins to HealthKit, HomeKit, which we got a taste of the last time Apple showed us their new OS stuff. So, what do you want? I'm kind of interested in this wearable. What do you want the wearable to do? What is it going to do? Give me one
Wearable?
prediction that this thing is you're going to go, wow, I need that.
Well, that's the question, though. What is there something good enough for you to say, I'm going to switch my phone again and again and again? I'm
Well,
getting
some
a
of
little
us never
worn out.
switched.
Well, but
Well-
is the wearable supposed to be in place of the phone or in
No.
addition?
No, this is an addition.
Yeah.
Okay, in
This is supposed to
addition.
be a big event, and there's a secret building that's popped up on the college campus of De Anza College in Cupertino that Apple has built to accompany the event. I think they're going to have the event in the same room that Jobs unveiled the Mac originally.
Oh,
Way long ago.
So I think that's a signal. It's a signal to say something big, big, big is happening that hasn't happened in a long time. And there's this big building that's shrouded in, it's like 2 or 3 stories. And it's a temporary structure, I guess. I think it's a temporary, maybe it's a permanent structure for the event. And it's got scaffolding and paper all around it. You can't get in it. No one knows what's going on, but interesting. So what do you think, ladies? What's that one? What does that that I haven't worn a watch in a long time. What's going to make me put something on this? I was wearing a Fitbit for a while. Well, that's off. I'll show you where it is. This is exactly where my Fitbit is,
Yeah.
on the desk.
I'm not wondering.
Another thing I'm going to throw over my shoulder. Throw it
I got
over.
mine right here.
I think
I have my
your
watch on.
question-
I'm going
I think,
totally retro.
I think your question is spot on, which is, can they even come up with something so great
I'm
that
trying to
people
think
will care?
if I could push
Do
the
you
button
care?
and like be in Paris in a second, I would do it. I would buy that.
I wanted to fold my laundry.
I want a transporter. If it's a transporter, I'll buy it.
I'm in. Yeah, me too. I'm in. Yeah.
Okay.
Beam,
You know.
beam me aboard. What is it?
So it has to be a
Just
Star
think, no more
Trek.
TSA.
That one used to be. I think that one used to be right about here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, on Star Trek.
Cha-ching.
Yes, but this
Yeah.
is Apple, and they're going to put it on my wrist.
Yeah.
I want to push the button. I want to ditch the TSA.
Who
I want
had-
to go straight to New York and like hang
Right.
out, have dinner, and come back.
Who had the phone? Was it Dick Tracy? Am I?
But that
Well-
was a communication device. It wasn't
Yeah,
a
that was
transporter.
something else.
Oh, okay.
You want Wormhole Airlines run by
Yeah. yes. With no
and
TSA.
You
that's
want to be
really
just
scary.
sort of like vacuumed to
Right.
some other place, right?
Yes.
Like
Right.
those
yes.
tubes that they used to. Do they still use that in banks? The
Yeah.
tubes.
What? I
Yeah.
was thinking Star Trek. You know,
Those
you
are-
actually your atoms. You know, you
Yeah.
just
Yes.
then you appear somebody.
The
somewhere.
moleculizer or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, they had that
Okay,
tooth
I
in-
don't think
in
that they're
France.
doing that. So let's get real. What?
Well, then nothing else is going to do.
Nothing else.
That's a good answer.
Nothing
That-
else is going to make Mary put something
I
on
mean,
her wrist.
well, not to wear something on my
that's-
wrist. I mean, I don't, I don't feel compelled. I don't have a Fitbit. Ed wears a Fitbit all the time. And I look at it and I'm like, that's nice, but I don't want one. It's just another thing to mess with. And I don't care. I mean, I already have enough issues with the laptop and the phone and,
Here's the thing that
bunch
I
of
think.
tablets
If I,
and stuff.
so, so the problem with a lot of these wearables that are coming out is that they need, in order for them to do anything in real time, which is not really real time, they have to have a connection to your phone. And the early cases of usability for these wearables is really receiving push notifications from your phone. But if you want any real time, you do something or a sensor hits something, you have to have it connected to your phone for it to trigger another event. So if they could make the whatever it is, iWearable, Apple Wearable.
Ooh, all of a sudden, Rebecca knows the secret name.
No. Don't say
It's
it.
code name. If I actually think if they could make it connect directly to the cellular or Wi-Fi networks, not having to use your phone, so that you can do things that make the wearable more useful. So let's say your sensor or your tracking or whatever it is that's going on the device can trigger an event. Like, when I go for a jog and I don't want to take my phone, but maybe this thing, I can listen to Pandora without the phone. I can maybe get notifications without my phone. Maybe
I have
my house
one
can
thing-
send, when it
thing
comes
to
to
say.
HomeKit, just one more second. If
Yeah.
it comes to HomeKit, when I walk in the door from that jog, the door unlocks and things like that. So I don't have to bring my keys.
That's cool.
All of these things, I think, would be enabled if that could connect directly to any of these networks and not through the mobile phone. And I think that would be a really interesting thing that might make me buy it.
I only can say, and you know who said this, people don't know what they want until you
Apple
show it
launches
to
it.
them. That's
That's
you know
true.
who said that? Steve Jobs
Until
said
Apple
that.
launches it.
And also, of course, it has to have the function that if you drop your phone in the toilet, it springs back out dry and not in any way wrecked
Yeah.
up. That's key. Another
I mean,
important thing.
If it works independently, like of your phone connected to the network, then you could have GPS trackers and things like that. Then it gets really interesting. I don't know. I would buy it if it will function more like that.
But if it means another cellular account,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
oh my
That's
gosh.
the downside. That would be
Big down.
That's
I mean, how much money can they be extracting from my wallet all the time? Oh, whoa, there is another thing coming up. Another rumor. They're going to have a payment system. Where did I
the
see
Apple.
this?
Yeah.
A new payment platform.
For Apple.
Okay.
From Apple.
Yeah, this is another
mobile
thing that they're
payments?
rumored to announce. So things are real. It sounds like lots of big, interesting things, huh?
That's interesting. Mobile payments. If they
Yeah.
were to,
They've
wow.
stayed out of it, kind of oddly, for a long time, but it sounds like they're in it.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that's going to
nobody's
be
really
big.
winning that space.
That's watch out Square.
Yeah.
Well, Square's struggling right now.
I know.
Struggling
Really?
for, yeah. It's been all over the news the last 2 weeks that they're really having to figure out what their long-term revenue strategy is, because the payments side of it just isn't working out as they thought. So
You know
I'll
what? I
to
have
look
to
up some articles.
go. I have to go.
Okay. Well, listen, Hallie. How about if we say goodbye to you, and then I'll wrap up with the ladies. Hallie, just wave us off. We're so
And-
happy to.
And you can make fun of me of all the crazy things I said about pets. Okay.
That's right.
Bye. And
Okay, Hallie.
Bye, Hallie.
Don't ask me who that is. Bye.
Okay. Okay,
Bye, Hallie.
as Hallie leaves us, and maybe I can get rid of that. Who knows? That would require. Sometimes this is
Maybe we can
like
put a little avatar up in
this
her
is like
place.
walking and chewing gum, folks. It's like I let's see. Can I make that go away? I haven't made that one go away. Oh, I know how to make this one go away. Watch, this is exciting. Let's just go. Oh no, I don't need to do that. Shh, forget it. Forget it. I don't want to jerk around with that. It'll just be a white screen. It's okay. Uh, well, I'm glad we finally got around to some tech news, ladies. I mean, that was like, I wonder if someone's joining our show, and we're talking about whatever, forever, before we get to tech. But that's okay. You know what? Here, look. Part of the reason why we're doing this show to begin with is because women, first thing, we're here to sort of give some female voice to tech. There's not enough of it. It's there, but there's not enough of it, so we wanted to be part of that. And two, I think women, just they digest these things differently. We deal with them with tech in our lives, and our women's lives are very holistic. And I think our first show sort of showed when we were changing hats like crazy on the spur of the moment. I think we do that in our lives, and so our show sometimes is a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but I think that, and I know my life's like that. What about you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a
Yes,
little
lots of
explanation.
balance.
That was me explaining why we don't get to talk for half an hour. That's okay. I'm fine
okay.
with that. I'm
We
very
have
fine with that.
Other lives.
So,
too.
and another thing that I'll note here, it was recently the 94th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, giving the women the right to vote in this country, and it was a struggle for a very, very, very long time. People fought for this for a very long time. Did not happen overnight. So this is my way of saying our show has a lot of time to get better and better and better. How's that?
That
So
was perfect.
good things
said.
come to people who work on it.
Yeah.
I just compared our show to the 19th Amendment. That's okay.
I'm glad someone can do that.
Another
Thank you.
non segue. That's
Non sequitur.
that's right. So do we need to talk any more about Apple, or is it enough to say that there's a lot of exciting things that are coming, and we're sort of like getting, ooh.
I think the payment thing is kind of interesting. I just found an article that I could post on the link about why they would do it. So this article mentions that they have 800 million credit cards on file, which is kind of interesting. I mean, Amazon has to have similar, if not more. I know that, oh shoot, what is the other? Google has something like 100 million. They're sort of lagging behind because they don't charge for that many things. In terms of, there's a real threshold, I think, that you cross when you have payment information, because then people don't make up their names and their addresses because they can't run the credit card without having a match, right? And so you really know who somebody is and where their legal residence is, or at least their financial mailing address, which is a lot. And so it's interesting, this notion that they would put in a payment system. I do think that there's room for a good payment, kind of technology solution, because nobody's really come up with one, and all the wallets that have been put out there so far are kind of geeky. There's no real compelling reason to use them. So who knows? I mean, maybe they could put something out. On the other hand, it could be like Apple TV. I mean, and just not that interesting, and not that many people use it.
Are you dissing Apple TV?
I don't think it's super awesome.
I know Mr. Gilmore's going to be talking to you about that tonight.
All right, I'll be ready.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
he
the
does
mobile
like his
Mr.
Apple
Gilmore.
TV.
I will refer to him tonight as Mr. Gilmore. Hello, Mr. Gilmore.
Yes, yes, he prefers that. No, actually,
Sure.
Steve always says that his most people call him Steve, but his good friends call him Steven. So if you want to be a good friend, call him Steven, and that'll be that. So all right. Well, this was a show. This is a show. What are we at? We're at 12:12. We've gotten rid of the old clock. I'm just referring to the clock on my computer, which I know is. By the way, you know what I really want? I really want one of those remote control cameras. That would really make it for me.
Like
I'm
a
gonna have to
drone?
work on that. I need that. I find because sometimes I just have to like get up, so I walk around and adjust things in the middle
Maybe
of
we
the
should
show.
get you a GoPro to mount on your screen. It's got a wireless remote.
My daughter's a GoPro now. Well, I have to hook it up to all kinds of other things though to get the signal. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna work. I need, nah. I don't think so. But that's anyone out there want to give me a remote control camera? I love you to death. Just to try it out. I'm not asking for a gift. I just want to try it out to see if I really like it. Okay. So anything else that we need to take care of,
No.
ladies? We're good to go.
No,
We're good
we'll
to go.
see you tonight. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all having dinner
the
together.
G3 gals are having
Finally
a little
meeting in person.
partay.
Yeah.
A little later. That should be awesome and fun.
We should take pictures and post to our G3 Facebook page.
Yeah.
Yes. I imagine that some of that will happen. We won't have the the
Real
Burning
time.
Man rules, or maybe I'll be like the Burning Man body. Like no, it
You'll
all
be
has to
the-
go through me. I
You'll be the
I get
observer.
my permission to do that. Yeah.
Speaking of photos, I have to say I read this funny thing this week about and cycling right back around to celebrity culture. I read an interesting thing about the copyright on the selfie that was taken at the Oscars. You know, the one that got passed around everywhere. Ellen and
Oh,
Bradley
interesting.
Cooper and 10 other people, and so it went all over. Right, it like immediately had 1 million shares on Twitter, and a judge ruled that Bradley Cooper owns the copyright to that photo because it was his camera holding out, in front. I don't know. Can you see?
Whoa.
Like, yeah. And so he has the rights to that photo.
So
I don't know.
find it
I don't know
odd
why there
that
was a question,
this-
but anyway, it came up.
I find it odd that this was taken to that level where a judge in a court had to determine who owned the rights to this photo.
Well, think about it. Hollywood entertainment
I mean,
lawyers, and you have 12 stars or whatever, and each one has a different lawyer. And they all wanted the fees and to have the ownership or a share of the profits or I don't know what, And then you have agents who will take their cut, right? So if everybody gets their 10%, like the stars left with like 4.5% at the end of whatever their paycheck is. But all these other people are taking their money. So it's not even just
And then, of
the
course,
person in the photo.
there's the network who was broadcasting it live at the
Yes.
time. And,
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
So so there were all these people who were financially interested, and then ultimately it was ruled that, it's Bradley Cooper's photo because it's his camera and it was his finger. And on
It was
another
his
note,
finger.
It was
it was
his
his
finger.
finger that pushed
Did
the
that
button.
actually?
Well, so that's
factor
an issue
into it?
because there was a monkey that stole like a National Geographic camera and went and took pictures of itself. And then the guy got the camera back, and another judge just recently ruled that those photos are in the public domain or they're owned by the monkey. But since the monkey isn't owned by anybody, I mean, it's not in a zoo, it was out in the wild, that basically the photos can be reproduced in the public domain because the guy doesn't own them because he didn't push the button.
He didn't pull the
So
trigger.
wait, what happens?
Yeah.
What happens when you use one of those auto auto trigger like timer things.
Whoever
but you
paid
still
for the
not
auto
actually-
trigger.
No. If you set the auto trigger up, then it's yours. I mean, but it's the button pusher. So you can use someone else's
button
camera and take
pusher.
pictures, but it's the person who actually composed the photo owns the copyright, not the owner of the machine, not
Wow.
the.
Well, I
you know.
think Andy
Hey.
Warhol would have a lot to say about that because
Yeah.
he did art that a lot of people actually created, but with his direction. So sometimes his hand never touched the art,
Right.
but it was he'd sign it and it was his. So I don't know. I kind of question that when it's some sort of group effort, but there's a mastermind behind it. Why the mastermind wouldn't
But
be
he was paying
credited?
them. I mean, he was paying them. It was work for hire. That's like when Disney pays an animator, they still own it because or when a startup pays someone to code something, you sign over the rights in exchange for your paycheck. I mean, that makes more sense to me. But you're right. I mean, part of Andy Warhol's art was actually
The
doing this
experience of-
weird art experiment of I'm going to pay and I'm not even going to sign it. A machine's going to sign it, and I'm going to and it's like art to make people pay for this art, right? I mean, I once went to this Andy Warhol film festival in San Francisco on Valencia, and basically we saw film, like not even video. Like they shot actual film, which is very expensive to buy, process, edit. And it was literally like he crumpled up a bunch of Kleenexes and then they slowly unwrapped one at a time. And it was like, dude, you're just so weird. But he was creating art, like his version of art out of the concept of art. Like that was his deal.
Questioning what art is and
Yeah.
who creates it, and yeah.
As Lily Tomlin said, soup art,
So-
She,
I love
remember her
Lily Tomlin.
character
She's a hometown Detroit girl, just like me.
yeah.
Okay, so
had
speaking
that,
of speaking of
social
that,
side.
I want you to a couple things, ladies. Get your hats together because we're going to do a hat show,
Ooh.
and get
Bring
your
the
beverages together. And when I said hometown, that was a little hint about my favorite beverage. So I
Bring
will be
the
bringing
hats.
that to the set.
Bring
What-
the hats to dinner tonight.
What's the the spinner? Wait, I don't
Oh, the hats, Tina, the hats that
Oh,
we
the
got
hats.
from.
spun around.
No,
What-
I'm talking to Tina about the hats that were sent to us from all the
Yes.
different.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I've got them right here.
Okay, we are.
All right.
I've got a
So
box
that's
of hats, and you're all getting them tonight.
Yay!
You get to pick your
Okay.
colors.
cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
And we will thank our sender, who was so gracious to think of us, and a while ago. And I'm sorry that I haven't gotten around to giving them out, but these things happen. Summer happens, and but this is a great time to do that. So we'll get our hats. And I recently posted on our Facebook page about, some people had asked about sending us hats. Want to have their company logo on our head
they
or
can
whatever. And
Send us
I said,
other
"Sh-
things
yeah."
too, right?
What's that?
They can send us other things too, right?
Oh
It doesn't have to
yeah,
be hats.
we got no
Yeah.
problem accepting nice gifts. Send away,
wanted to throw it out there.
please. Got no problem with that. Okay, so
Capitalize with
so here we
Ira
go. I'd like to thank you. Of course, we thank Hallie for having been here. Mary, thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
Rebecca, lovely as always. She said to
Thank
me
you.
earlier, she says, "I'm having a bad hair day." I said, "That's just not possible with Rebecca."
It's
Look
kind
at
of
her.
The place. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, ladies. I'd like to thank Ustream for providing our live streaming services and recording services also. I'd like to thank New Tech and their lovely TriCaster. I push lots of nice buttons here and make magic, and I'm going to learn more about it and make more magic happen. So thank you to New Tech. Thanks to Steve who's always providing me support, even when he can't be here. What can I say? He can't be here, but
Mr. Gilmore.
he's a phone call away. And I hope my phone gets bigger soon. Okay. And thank you all. I remind you all to step outside your comfort zone. A lot of interesting things happen when you do that. Step outside your comfort zone. Find those places that that feel scary, and go towards them, because it's cool stuff. I think we've all been there, and I know all these my co-hosts have done things in their lives that they took big chances, and I think women often need to be encouraged to go for it. So please find something, anything. And sometimes it should be a little thing. Go for a little thing. Try that. Anyway, go for it.
Well,
come back and talk to us soon, and we'll see you soon. Let me get my logo together, and we'll say bye. Whoop! Oh,
Bye.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. You know why? I didn't press the right button. So now, how about this? We'll leave on this shot, and we'll go to the logo, and we'll say bye bye.
Bye.
There we go.
Oh, my butt hurts.
Hang on.
Are we on mute yet?
Hang on, no.
Oh no.